Hello! Let's just get Discord going. Hello, Discord. Hello, everybody. Wowzers.
Okay.
Hello, Blown Up World of Tanks Blitz. Hello, Solfan. Hello, Zero Meerkat. Hello, Tyrannix. Hello, Galactic Tech Creator, all on YouTube. Hello, Dark Eye Maddox in Stugmouse on Discord. Wowzers. So,
Actually, I'm not on YouTube.
so
Galactic Tech Creator and me are the same person.
I know you're on YouTube, but now you're not.
Yep.
So, a couple of things to go through this week. Realistic mode is back, so we'll look into that. The Pro Tournament Series for the spring has started, and boy, has it started with a vengeance. It's been interesting so far. The Challenges has also started, but not many people are talking about it, which is a shame because there's some really good clans on all the servers in the Challenges. And as per usual, we'll probably talk about the T92 because the nerf has made it a shadow of its former self, or has it? Well, let's have a look in the store first. That's what we always start with. What have you got? Oh, look. They're reselling the tanks for Victory Day Parade, which isn't taking place this year, by the way, in Moscow, but it is taking place in Belarus. So Minsk has got their Victory Day Parade. Russia hasn't got theirs. 5 great warriors for 15,000 gold, or you get 3 for 9,000 gold. Let's be honest. Get the 5. Get the 4. Sorry, the 4. What have you got there? You got the Rudy, fantastic tank. The IS-2 1945. It's an IS-2. It's not bad. The Bromwell, which is a great tank. You've then got, what is that? Oh yeah, the T-34 Victory, which is it's a bit meh, and you've got the SU-122, which is it's okay, I guess. So 5 for 15, 5,000 each. Or you get the 3, which is the Bromwell, the IS-2, and the Rudy. So you're missing out on the Victory, not a bad thing, and the SU, probably not a bad thing. To be honest with you.
The Victory is basically just a.
Yeah, it's not. It's just it's not a great tank. It's pretty difficult.
3485 with the unique camo.
Yeah. Then you've got the Bromwell on its own for 3,000. The Bromwell's a good tank. It's actually a very good tank. Then we've got the T55A and the T54 first prototype. 2 really good tanks for 15,000. But for 15,000, obviously you're getting a tier 8 and a tier 9 there, where you can get a load of tier 6s. 5 tier 6s for the same price, to be honest with you. You've got the T55 for 10,000. So if you're going to do it, guys, get the 15,000 one. 2 tanks that would normally set you back 10,000. Plus you get avatar containers and all that. What about in the bundles? Well, we've got the Furious T7057. Okay, if you're a tank collector, of course. We've then got SU-130 containers. And the drop chance of 5%. So if you're going to go for it, guys, good luck. Because it's what? About $15, 15 euros, something like that, for 1 crate. Or a lot for 10 crates. Plus you get 2 extra. But still a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, 185 dirhams, by the way, which is the currency my garage is in, works out to about $50. So that's not cheap. It is not cheap. Then you've still got the Gills and Panzer series, if you're interested. And that's about it in the store. So, containers. I can't believe they put it in containers. That's just so rude. Lots of people have been waiting for that tank and they stick it in a bloody container. Well. 5% drop chance. Same as the Scorpion G. Same bloody tank, realistically. Apart from the fact it's got a Russian flag rather than a German one. China, by the way, get it as an event because crates in China are illegal. Oh, dearie me.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently, the Chinese server is completely separate. Because crates in China are illegal. So I'm told.
Yeah, I think it's the same in Holland, isn't it, Fugit?
Yeah, but I don't. Well, yes and no. I mean, the way that China's a little bit different. The way it works in Holland, they're trying to push through at the moment a full law, but my understanding is in the Netherlands, yes, correct, is that if as long as you do what wargaming are doing and stacking it up with other stuff and telling you what the drop chance is, it's not technically illegal, but because the drop boxes, when they first came to light, were illegal because you paid and you got bugger all. It was really a lucky dip. But they're looking to change it. But we'll see. So technically they're not breaking the law in Europe wargaming. But my understanding is they are the containers, anything in a container or a crate with a chance in China is illegal. So they have to do it a little bit differently. There are no crates or drop boxes at all on the Chinese server. Is my understanding. That's my understanding.
Let's see if there's any historical info on the SU-130P.
Oh, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Hey, history on this tank not found. Wiki.
Yeah, there isn't.
There is
It's
an S-100P. There's a 100mm howitzer.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, during the war, every nation toyed with certain things, and there's lots of different blueprints and different prototypes. But yeah, I couldn't find anything. I've never heard of the SU-130, to be honest with you. They did stick a 130 mil in an ISU, which does exist. It's the it does exist, but it's the PM part that is an issue. In fact, we have the SU-130 in the game, I believe.
Yeah, you can find the images of the SU-100P though.
Yeah, there's an SU-100P.
And so it looks the same as the SU-130PM, just with the smaller gun.
All right, let's have a look. Hello, Barney. Hello, Dukey H. Canny, I do miss you. Kenny, I'm surprised you're not talking about Littlefinger's recent video. I would have thought that would have been a hot topic for you. On the grounds that he is saying he's got proof, according to Littlefinger, that the MM is broken. It is rigged. So I'm surprised that's not a hot topic. To be fair, Ferry Marshall, hello, how are you doing?
I tell you what, if it comes out with Wargaming, answer that then. If it does come out and it is rigged, would they compensate everyone for the...
It's Littlefinger, according to his math, said even if you base the matchmaking of win rate and average damage, it still wouldn't make much of a difference. Which is sad.
Oh. So, sorry.
What I'm saying is, if it did come out to light and it did come out, what would Wargaming do? How would they react to it? Would they compensate the players for it? I don't think so, would you? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Hang on a minute. So hang on. Tyrannix. Hang on a minute.
Sorry.
No, I'm trying to make sure that the sound is okay, because I can't hear it. And I've been having problems with the microphone recently, so... Do I hear the faint sound of another... Is it real? Oh, right, sorry. Okay, couple of things. I was part of the... I haven't finished my side of it, but I was part of the project that Littlefinger refers to. And, okay, a couple of things. It could be seen, yes, that the odds are stacked. But what I've discovered with the data that I've pulled together is, realistically, it's random, guys. It is random. And the data that we were asked to provide, I don't think is enough data, because you should be providing the types of tanks in your game, both enemies and on your side, the battle counts, etc., etc. And if you just go against the win rates and the average damage, then it will look over a period of time that, yes, it may be slightly rigged. However, in a lot of games where the win rate on my team was higher than the win rate on the other team on the average win rate and average damage, we lost. We didn't win. And there are games where we won when the average win rate and the average damage was a lot lower than the teams we were facing against. So whilst I understand where Littlefinger's coming from, the data that is telling me on my spreadsheet, because I'm part of the same project, is that realistically it is purely random. Now I know a lot of people would turn around and say, oh, but Littlefinger's proved it. Has he? I don't know. Is the honest answer. Take watch his video and look at what he's saying. But my data, because I can't stress this enough, my data really is, I'm on the same project. I haven't done the 250 games that Littlefinger's done. We've only done them at tier 8. And my data is showing me that it really is quite random, to be honest. Now, if I were to interrogate the data a bit more, look at the tank types, etc., 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 then yes, the data may show something different. But from where I'm sat, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry. It just says it's purely look at the draw, guys. So it's an interesting video, though. I suggest everybody to go and have a look at Littlefinger's video because it is interesting, and you can interrogate data whichever way you want to at the end of the day. You really can.
He does have a point that a lot of games that you play are pretty lopsided. You have
now that I agree with.
0.
Now that I agree with. There is a lot of lopsided games, but that's not strictly because of the MM. To be honest, it's not. The way what I've been told, and the way I know about it, the MM picks tier and tank. Simple. And if you go into a platoon of 2 heavies, for example, try this yourself. Go into a platoon, both take the same tank or the same type of tank. So either both take a mouse or take a mouse and an IS-7. If you both go out in a mouse or an IS or 2 heavies, you will find it harder to get into a game, whilst the MM finds a platoon that also has 2 heavies. So it does work that way. So it is random to an extent.
Well, talking about platoons made me think about how whenever I platoon with anybody, it seems like I get worse matchmaking. I lose more than when I go solo.
No, I was watching one I was in a game the other day, and I was like, oh my god, the other side they've got 2 Sheridans, but we had a Sheridan and a Batchat, and our Batchat is a light tank, and the Sheridan is a light tank, and it doesn't differentiate between, oh, this is a light tank with missiles and this is a light tank without missiles. It just says it's a light tank. Mm-hmm. So there are anomalies. I don't disagree, but like I said, from the data I've seen so far, and I've only done 100 battles, it is random. Sometimes the odds are stacked against you because you'll find that one team has better players than the other, but I've not seen anything where I can point my finger and say, yes, there's a losing queue, yes, there's a winning queue. And
yeah, like my teams, I always get the losing queue.
Yeah, but I've not seen a game where it does that yet. Not in the data. As I've said, I've interrogated the data from what I've got, but there isn't much, to be honest with you, that's telling me that. Let's play a replay from Layla in the AMX. There's nothing telling me that basically it's gone down. It's stacked against you. It's not telling me that. And the thing is, when I looked at the data, you'll tend to find, like I said, I had one game that it was a whitewash. The other team beat us 7-0. Yet we had the better average damage and the better win rate. Yet the other team annihilated us.
The heck are these stamps that okay. I'm confused.
So
Mark,
you have to
Mark
be careful.
Gardner on his Discord, there's bonus code, there's codes
I don't know what these are. So,
And they
these are
didn't
these are
stand.
codes for the someone's winging around bonus codes for the event. So to open the battle pass, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
My question is, what do you do with the stamps that they give you?
I have no idea. So,
Yeah,
but like I
yeah.
said, it's an interesting video that Little Fingers put together. I don't know if I fully agree with his reasoning that MM is broken, but it's an interesting video. Make your own minds up, guys. Go and have a look. See what he's got to say. Look at the data that he's presenting, and come to your own conclusions. But my conclusions were that, as I said, yes, I've seen his data, and if you look at it in cold light of day, then he has been given 250 random battles. It's as simple as that. Some of them are encounters, some of them are supremacy. It's just random. And sometimes we get put in a queue with good players in the random mode, and sometimes we get put in the queue with complete and utter muppets, unfortunately. It's just the way it works. And, it's like I've said, I've been in games whereby, I've gone into battle and the players, the win rates say, look, it's all great. You've got your team's average win rate is 54% and the other team's average win rate is 47%, and they beat us. So, go figure. So, I mean, I've been bottom tier in almost all my games on the data thing, to be honest with you. So, but it is what it is. Well, I don't think it is. I still believe it is. Yes, I believe there are anomalies. We'll never know how the matchmaker truly works. They'll never tell us. We'll get snippets.
Yeah, there's still a lot of speculation. Like it does leave sometimes it can leave a bit of taste in your mouth, can't it? It's just.
Hi, Kate.
Yeah.
How you doing?
But until we get the hard evidence, it's always going to be speculation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there is one thing I do totally agree with Littlefinger's video, and that is the days where the games used to be really close and you could carry in their Kolobanovs, left, right, and centre. They are now few and far between.
Yeah, very few, far between.
And I've seen evidence of that. It's now harder to get really competitive battles. It's a lot easier to get whitewashes, whereas
it's all one-sided now, isn't it?
Well, my argument has always been and always will be, prior to 5.5,
it was evenly balanced. I know what you're saying.
And then since 5.5, because people are rushing through the tiers, they're not gaining the experience, they're not getting used to the tanks. It's thrown everything out of balance, I think. So,
and like you say, it's like you said there. Now we are now seeing the end result of it.
Well, I think we are. I think we're seeing the knock-on effect. That's the issue. That is an issue. There is a knock-on effect, and it does carry into the game at the higher tiers, unfortunately. And I know. I mean, for example, BT did a video about who he is or whatever. I can't remember what it was now, what it was entitled, and he freely admits that he went out in the looks to get his win rate up to the 60% plus, and he just played the looks time after time after time, because back in those days, it wasn't broken, but it was a nice tank. It was a difficult tank to play against, and if you were a reasonably good player and had some skill, then yes, you could literally run around the battlefield smacking everything. So, but those days have gone. Now we get to see there are more. The tanks, okay, you've still got the anomalies like the Smasher. In fact, I'll play the Smasher now. Like the Smasher, which is still an anomaly, but it's not an impossible tank to counter. But in the right hands, it's an absolute beast. But the tanks generally are more balanced. They are generally more balanced. Whereas this is why we don't have it. And what we did have with the missile tanks was again that venturing into becoming imbalanced. whereby you were having the T92 that was totally unbalanced, which brought an imbalance to the game again, which is why people were spamming the T92, because you can. And if you're a good player, you didn't need the missiles, only as a last resort. You could spam that tank on its APCR and seriously dominate everybody. So it does happen. It does happen. But, you know, it's an interesting video. Let me say that. It is an interesting video. So, by all means, like I said, go around, check the video out yourself, and draw your own conclusions. You may agree with him, you may disagree with him, you may think, yeah, he's got some good points, or yeah, he's got some bad points. I personally thought his points about the games are not as close as they used to be, the competitive edge has kind of disappeared, is a fair point, because I think it has gone slightly.
It's horrendous, isn't it? Some games,
Yeah.
and like you say, you just get absolutely railroaded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which brings us on to the next point. So, MM notwithstanding, thank you for that, Canny. It's always... Canny, I do miss you on the forums. Realistic game mode is back. Some people hate it, some people love it.
Don't get me started on that one, mate.
There you go, Grumpy doesn't like it. I think it's great.
I hate that with a passion.
Now, why do I like realistic game mode? Well, two reasons. One, mainly because the hit skins have gone. And because the hit skins have gone, it allows you to get more proficient in your tank, to be honest with you. Because you now got to try and find those weak spots on the tanks that you're smacking, which you don't normally have in the normal game. And okay, you can lose, of course. Grumpy is a testament to that. But it is a trickier game mode, and I like it. The reason I like it is because, as I said, it doesn't affect your win rate, it doesn't affect your stats. Okay, it's going to cost you credits. You either win them or lose them. But the fact of the matter remains is that if you've got a new tank, if you're not proficient in it, if you're if you're tentative in it and don't understand it yet, realistic game mode is a great way to get out there and learn that tank. It really is, because it's not going to affect your stats.
It is, yeah, because you learn to hit the points where you need to hit on a tank.
Mm-hmm.
But even like last night, I mean, when we played last night in it, I hit the side of tanks, the rear of tanks, and half the buggers bounced.
Yeah,
They
no, they will. They will. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on here? I hit it where it should penetrate, and nothing. So whether I had crap RNG on my side last night or what, but it just wasn't having. You know what I mean? And what I did find is what they were out spotting me before I spotted them.
One moment. Nameless. Nameless.
I don't know.
Thank you for that. I didn't know what it was. So Nameless has just put into the YouTube chat the code that will unlock 2 levels in Battle Pass for those of you who are interested.
Ah.
So there you go.
Hey, I'm not far off getting that tank, by the way.
Oh, nice. It's a good tank to have, mate.
I've got about another 5 levels. So
Perfect.
I've been tempted to drop the gold, but I thought, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
It is slightly slower than the KV-1S because it
Yes.
has the stock engine from the KV-1S.
What I've got, I
It's
need.
slower to pick up.
But you know, for a tier 6 and for the cost in real terms, $5 to play the game, it's actually not a bad tank.
It's not, is it?
No, not when you look at it in that way. It's not a bad
This is
tank.
the first event I've actually thought, and yeah, I'll have a go at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred it if the SU-130TM was the tank, but hey, they stuck that in a crate. Buggers. But yeah, like I said, the thing about realistic mode, if you're got a new tank, or you're not comfortable in a tank, or you're trying to learn a tank because you've just got to render stats in it, then realistic mode is a great way to do it. Don't worry about people being toxic. It doesn't matter in realistic mode. No one's going to downvote you because they can't. So it doesn't really matter. Just get out there, learn the tank, get used to it, get proficient in it, enjoy it for what it is, which is basically a training mode, but a difficult training mode, because there's no spotting mechanics and there's no hit skins. Other than that, it's good, especially if you're getting into the higher tiers. It's good. It's a good mode to get into. Even though some people don't like it.
More realistic, though.
Yeah, it's not
Could
realistic.
be a little more realistic.
Well, but
But
you missed
not
that. How
without-
did you miss that?
Not by taking the hit points away.
Well, that's the
Gotta
thing.
keep those hit
That's the
points.
thing, though, Juki. I mean, the idea about it is to use your eyes now, and this is why I think it's a good mode, because you get to understand where these tanks are going to go, and if you've got, I mean, we had a game yesterday where a guy on IS4 was completely blind. He didn't see the bat chat in front of him. He didn't see the grill going next to him, and he didn't see a progetto coming up behind him. He was completely blind because he was probably driving around in sniper mode. And if you drive around in sniper mode, you're not going to see bugger all. To be honest with you.
You don't drive around in sniper mode in any
No, but I think he was, bless him.
battle.
I think he was, but it was all good fun. So that's realistic mode. Next, we've got, unless you're living under a rock, guys, the spring professional tournament have kicked off. They kicked off on the 7th across all the servers. I'm streaming Asia and EU. I'm streaming Asia along with Amunet, EU along with Rib. Every good name is taken, and Amunet. And Amunet, Fishy, and Droodles, I believe, are streaming North America. So, I'm going to show that anyway, Connie.
Avatars.
So not all the streams will carry season coins. Now, the season coins you're only going to be able to get for unlocking either credits, premium, or XP. Okay, so you're not going to get tanks or anything like that. But it's free XP, free credits, and free premium, to be honest with you. If you watch the entire stream, you will get 45 season coins. That is enough to get you 50,000 credits or 5,000 XP or whatever it is. And you also get the hardcore fan avatar. Woo. So,
That's another thing there. I mean, avatars.
Wait.
Unless you're a
hang on.
collector.
No, Mr. Slapnons, tell them yourself. Say it. Yeah, sorry, Grumpy, you were saying.
I don't want to
of
sound
course,
negative, but unless you're a collector of avatars, stuff like that, then. To me,
Yeah,
that's-
the avatar's just an add-on. What you're doing, you get
Yeah.
it's the season coins you're after. You want the season coins, believe me. Now, not every stream has got season coins, by the way. So it's only one stream. So tomorrow I'm streaming both Asia and EU, and Aminet is on Asia has got the season coins. I haven't. But the thing is, all you need to do, I mean, I did it the other day, you just log on to the Wargaming through the official portal, because you can't watch it through YouTube. Open the official portal, keep it open, and then you can go and watch whatever battles you want to watch. So, yeah, you have to keep the Wargaming window open, Kate. That is very true. So what I do, because I'm streaming on my PC, I normally have my iPad open and logged in, and that just ticks away in the background. Now, tomorrow is, as I said, Aminet and I are streaming Asia first, and it was Aminet's stream, and that will have the season coins, and then I'm streaming EU, and it was my stream on the EU, I believe, that's got the season coins. And I am streaming, first and foremost, I think I'm streaming Vale first, against Souls, I believe. And then after that, I think I got APA against, or Loka, I can't remember. So, all in all, it'll be good. And I can't remember I've got an Asia. That's really bad. I know I haven't got Feast. That's one thing I do know, because Aminet has got Feast. But it'll be good stuff. And I don't know what's going on about North America because I'm not streaming North America, I'm afraid. So I haven't got all the details about what's going on there. With regard to the way the tournament's working, up until the 16th of May, it's just the group stages. And then we'll be getting into the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals. Now, the final for EU, for example, is being streamed by Aminet. So I have asked if I can stream the final of the Challengers Tour. Because, I mean, it's a good tour. And unfortunately, because there aren't many streamers, it doesn't really get a good look in. So I streamed it last year because I'm a novice streamer and I needed the experience. So I was never going to get on the Pro Tour with the likes of Rolling Swarm back those days and Aminet. So I asked if I could stream the Challengers Tour to get experience. So if there's any streamers out there who want to get involved, seriously guys, let us know. Because you won't get season coins or anything like that, but you'll get to stream a decent series, some really good clans. I mean, FBI, W1B, Winter War, Anaheim, I've forgotten a lot of them, but some really good clans are in the Challengers Tour. Some really, really good clans. And they don't get a look in, unfortunately, because there's just not enough streamers. And that's the problem. So, is there anything anybody wants to know about the series? All I'm saying is, as long as you've got the window open for both rounds, so tomorrow is rounds 3 and 4, you will get the 45 season coins, but you have to have it open for the entire duration, start to finish. If you don't, then you won't get it. And you can't log in via YouTube, you've got to go by the official portal. Without that, you won't get the coins, guys. There's no good having to go at the streamer, because it's not out of the streamer's hands, I'm afraid. It's in the hands of...
Stop my network and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah. But what I'll do, when this game finishes, I'll show you what you need to do.
It's like, I'm trying to get the missions done there for the platoon mission, and the last 7 games that I've played, I've either been ping spiked or been...
Yeah, Mr. Slapnots, they are getting slapped for their troubles. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
Can't help that.
I've been booted out of the game
I know,
twice.
it's lazy. Yeah, I get booted out of the game a few times since the update, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's getting to be I don't know, it's a regular thing at the minute.
But tomorrow, Tyrannix, my stream is giving the coins tomorrow for EU and Aminet for Asia. And no, it's lazy. But when you're hooked up in the middle of a stream, trying to find the words, it could be worse. I'm not John Motson, unfortunately. Or who was the F1 one? What was his name? Murray, wasn't it? Murray. What was his name? I can't remember his name now. He's dead now, unfortunately. Something Murray or Murray something. I can't remember. Anyway, if I was like him, it'd be great. I could use words like superlative. I don't think that would work though. What I'll do at the end of this replay, which is probably going to end soon because he's going to do a Kolobanoff here, I'll show you what you need to do because it shows you how to get to the season coins. Because a lot of people get confused, bless them, and there's no reason to be. It is pretty straightforward. You can do it via the game or you can just do it via the internet, one of the two. But as Kay says, you must have the portal window open. If you drop the window or whatever, then effectively it will stop calculating the time. It's as simple as that. Mr. Slapnuts, you want to try it, mate? I'll tell you what, try it for a day. That's a great critical. So, when you're looking for the streams, you go down to the tournaments, click on tournament, go on to current, go into professionals, go on to streams, and there you go. So tomorrow I've got it's APA versus Vale, Monkey Gaming versus Vengeance, and Souls Bad Touch against Loka. So it's that's what's happening. And then you click on that, and it will take you to the internet logon. So that's what you need to do. That's how you do it. Okay, so that's that. Moving on, the last one on my list. We've unless you've been living under a rock, let's have a look at this one. The T92, is it a shadow of its former self? Is the nerf enough? Is it not enough? Is it a nerf too far?
A bit rarer.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough. The armor's still trollish.
Well, I mean, I've been smacking them left, right, and centre without too much problems actually since the nerf. I still think that APCR is a bit dangerous. It's a bit too much damage, but I'm bouncing a lot more from them. I've noticed that. I'm still, people now. I've noticed people now are going more to rockets than they are APCR. To be honest with you, because obviously the penetration on the rockets hasn't changed, just the penetration on the APCR. So people are using rockets a lot more than they were previously, but I don't find the T92 as troubling as it used to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that could be the fact that the people are playing it are not as good as they should be. I don't know, but
it's just a bit frustrating that a light tank can bounce so many shots, even now with a nerf. Do you know what I mean? And to me, they shouldn't be able to bounce that many even after the nerf. It's a light tank, for God's sake, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
You should be able to whack it with HE and do some damage.
Well, what normally happens is, I mean, we won't find out until the end of the month now, but Wargaming will collect the data, and at the end of the month it'll show us how it's affected the tank. And it'll show the data on if it's still a beast in that tier or not. The other thing to remember is that obviously tier 9s and tier 8 heavies have all had their HP increased as well, so that does help a little bit.
That HP buff for heavy tanks was a bit useless.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the best. I didn't think it's useless. I don't think. I mean, they've got to. Obviously, the mouse is still an anomaly, which is a problem.
The whole point of mouse is, except you have huge armor, now you have huge HP to back it up, which is I think
it like 3,180 with the
with the equipment loaded? Yeah, 3,180 is a lot. It's a lot. It really is.
Like in tier 10, the HP buff was okay, but in lower tiers, not so really. Nowadays, if you ever played the bottom tier medium or light, you have an even harder time against the top tier heavies.
Hold on. Well, somebody pointed out that when they buffed the Conqueror, it has the same hit points as the FD215B.
The 215B though, I feel sorry for the 215B. It had HP taken away from it, and all that's happened is it's given it back.
Yeah.
That's what
it's done. They didn't give it back. But it had HP taken away from it twice before that.
That's correct.
Because they gave it that stupid sandbag equipment, which I don't think very many people are going to use, because what the heck's the point in that?
I mean, Can is saying here the increased HP for heavies was the worst thing since 5.5. Well,
really,
it depends.
That's the third worst thing they did, at least in my book.
If I'm looking at it as a cold light of day, I don't think it's the worst thing they've done. I do think they are papering over the cracks and using a plaster to obviously stop the bleeding on an amputation. I think it's been done, especially in tiers 8, 9 and 10, because of the rocket tanks, moreover than anything else. But also, and I've seen this in the Pro Series and the tournaments, and I made a reference to point it out. And I've got Jory in here, and I know Maddox is in as well, but he hasn't spoken. But I've seen a change in the meta this season to heavy. Yes,
In tournaments.
absolutely.
Probably.
So the meta for the tournaments has changed massively. Now, one of the reasons Wargaming put out for the HP buff was to stop the dependency and the domination of the mediums, which it kind of has, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen a lot more like IS4s in tournaments and stuff like that now.
IS4s and mouse, rarely
Yeah.
1 to 2 medium at
Well,
max.
Well, just
Mostly
look
heavies,
at what the pro teams are taking out. I mean, I've streamed Asia and I've streamed EU so far, and I've done 4 rounds. So, round 1 and 2 in Asia, round 1 and 2 in EU. And I guarantee you this: almost every single team has had the same setup. No more than they some of them have thrown in a Sheridan, but not many. Some of them have thrown in a T22 or a T62, but not many. Every now and then they'll throw in a 268, but not many. But the majority of the maps that they're choosing now, they are picking heavy tanks. And when you're talking about 113s, E5s, oddly enough, IS4s and mouses. Not seeing many IS7s, not seeing any 100s, not seeing too many 215Bs, funnily enough.
Look at
Yeah.
this. From my
I think it's because of the
Crystal
camo
ones,
value on the
Crystal 7,
FB, isn't it?
530 hit points.
Yeah, but I mean,
Interesting.
this is the thing. I mean, yeah, Slapnuts there. I mean, yes, I'm seeing the pro teams running a lot of E5s and a lot of 113s, and you know, I was one of those guys who used to think that the 113 is not a great tank. It's actually a fantastic tank. To be honest with you, I really like it. It's a really nice tank, and it's one of those tanks that it's got a very long traverse, but it's got a really good reload, really good damage, and it's got really trolley armor. So, and I'm seeing a lot of the pro teams going to the 113s, the E5s, and things like that, and they're not really playing many meds, and it's interesting to see. And I suggest, you know, when it starts again tomorrow, because tomorrow is Sunday, just log onto anybody who's streaming them and see what the pros are taking in their tournaments, and you will see that the meta has changed.
IS4s and bounces.
Yeah, I've seen a fair few mouses on certain maps. They don't take I've noticed the pro teams aren't taking mouses for lots of maps, but they're taking them for a couple of maps. I mean, Imor and I think it was Loka were taking mouses on Faust, or was that APA? It doesn't matter. They were taking mouses on the likes of Faust, but it was very rare that they had more than 3 mediums. Very rare.
Mostly 2 to 1 medium were in
Well,
every match.
some of them, I've seen some of them have just taken 1 medium. There's been a couple of games where there's only been 1 medium taken out. But, you know, it's interesting to see. So, whilst we can say that, yes, the HP buff in 5 was the worst thing since 5.5, to an extent, it's done its job. It's stopped the domination of the mediums in tier 10, which was the first point, and obviously that's going to now roll down into the other tiers. And secondly, yeah, I did get it. World of Tanks Blitz happy, yes. I played it the other day, and obviously it does counter to an extent the missile tanks to an extent, but you know. We will see. So I don't know why we think it's the worst thing. So I'd be interested to know why we think it's the worst thing since 5.5, to be honest.
No, I just think it's bad because buffing heavies is basically, hey, you're giving bad players, which mostly go for heavy tanks, a bigger chance to survive. And the games are more reliant on the, how do you call them?
No, I understand where you're
Heavy,
coming
which is-
from, but But again, I mean, don't sit there thinking that, you know, wargaming have a brain fart and then decide to do this. It doesn't work that way. What they do is they do collect a hell of a lot of data on this stuff. And just like, cast your mind back almost a year ago now, when nobody, and I really mean nobody, was rolling out in the tier 10 British tanks. Not a single person. Everybody hated them. And they're good tanks. The 215B is a good tank. The FV4202 is a good tank. But nobody was rolling out in them. So Wargaming brought in these new consumables to try and get people to play the tank, which they did. And then they rolled out the consumables to the American line and the Japanese line, which sort of defeated the object a little bit. And what they've done here is they've had a lot. They've collected their data and they've seen that everybody's playing mediums. Nobody's playing the heavies anymore. And those who are playing the heavies are no longer dominating or being able to do what the heavy is meant to do. And what a heavy tank is meant to do, in fairness, is absorb shots. That's what it's meant to do. That's why it has armor. That's why it's slow. And that's why it has that long reload. Yes, I agree. Some people are not playing the heavy tanks correctly. I get that. I understand that. But to the same extent, more people were playing the mediums, Progettos, the M48 patterns of this world, the E50Ms, the Object 140s, the T62As, and the STB1s. People are rolling out in those in preference to the heavy. So
I'm
But
betting
like-
patents not so much.
Just please look down at
Especially on
tier
the
8.
server.
say again, sorry.
about that.
Finish.
Say again, sorry. I missed that.
Good. Say your thing.
No, I missed what you said.
Just look at, like I was talking, just look at the tier 8 at the moment, Tiger 2, and tell me, is that normal?
Well, the Tiger 2? Well, let me put it to a different way without looking at the Tiger 2. Look at the Tiger 1. Forget the Tiger 2. Look at the Tiger 1. The Tiger 1 got buffed, and it's a much better tank. And it's a tank that it should have been from the beginning. And one of the things that we've got to remember, and we do forget this, Wargaming are constantly adding new tanks. And a lot of the tanks in the game, especially if you're looking at the German and the Russian lines predominantly, those tanks are very old. And everybody bemoans it, that this tank's been power creeped or that tank's been power creeped. So they do have to rehash them every now and then. And I've heard a lot of people complaining about the heavies in tier 7, 8 and 9 being power creeped. Especially in tier 8. You know, the Louvre isn't the tank it used to be. The IS-6 is not the tank it used to be. They've been power creeped. So how do you bring that balance back, realistically?
It's still solid, but IS-6 isn't.
Yeah.
I think the lure, to me, I don't know if it's me or what, but I think the lure has lost a bit of its speed as well. It seems to be a bit slower.
I don't know. I haven't played it for a long time. But
Well, they're still pretty good, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of good games in the Lure. I mean, I've been up against it. But
Yeah.
don't forget, there's
Server's
been a
not
lot of
heavy
power
with
creeping.
armor. It's armor capable.
It could be for that reason. Then, yeah, you see another tank's being power creep for the mobility and the armor and stuff like that. So it might be just that's having that effect on it. It might seem that way. Yeah, there might be some. Yeah.
You know, and there are lots of nuances in this game, and we as players, we look at it from one perspective. And take Tier 8 as a prime example. Forget the SU 130 PM, which has just come in. Prior to that, the latest premium, I think the newest premium was the Progetto 46, I believe.
Oh, it's Action 10, I believe.
A nice take.
Oh, it was the Action 10. Was the Action 10. So take the Action 10 and then take the Progetto 46. I mean, the Action 10 has got... Oh, and the Chimera. So you've got three tanks there. The Chimera, the Action 10 and the Progetto 46. With the exception of the Action 10, which is a heavy, the other two are medium tanks. The Chimera is a medium, and boy, has that got a good gun. Absolutely. It's got brilliant penetration, fantastic damage, long reload, and it's got massive armour on its turret to boot. Progetto 46. Everybody loves that tank. I don't know anybody who doesn't love that tank, if they've got it. Now, those tanks can run rings almost around a Luva and an IS-6. So what are you going to do to balance those heavies? You've got to give them more HP. There's nothing else you can do, realistically. So that, you know, that's one of the reasons why they've probably done it. I'm not saying it is. I'm not part of the development team. I don't know, but I do know that we all complain about power creep. This tank's been power creep. That tank's not what it used to be. This new tank's come in and it's OP when it's not. So they've got to do something to rebalance these older tanks that are still in the game. That's maybe, I don't know. Plus counteract the missile tanks, and then on top of that, get people to play the heavies again, because they're not. Because they're playing mediums. And who wouldn't? If I gave you a Luva or a Progetto 46, which tank are you going to roll out in, realistically?
I'm a medium tank player, so medium.
Progetto 46, the only problem with it is the armor. It doesn't have any.
No, but it's
Otherwise,
seriously, take all that aside. If I were to say to you right now, you've got a choice, guys. You can have a Progetto 46 or you can have a Luva. Which one do you want? In fact, forget the Luva. You can have a Progetto 46 or an IS-6. Which one do you want? Progetto. I'm telling you, most people will turn around and say, "Give me the Progetto," because it's got that gun, it's got that fast reload, it's got that auto loader. It's a tank that people love, and people will get more out of it than they will an IS-6, because the IS-6 is not what it used to be. It just isn't.
Fair, because of that auto reloading system, basically you can play it like a clipper or
Absolutely.
a single shot, which is far more interesting.
And then if I turn around to you and say, "Guys, okay, here's another one. I'll give you the Chimera or the Luva. Which one do you want?" You'll take the Chimera. I'd take the Chimera. I don't know if you would, but I would definitely take the Chimera.
I think
it's a hell of a tank, that one.
I think the Luva's problem is the armor also is not what it used to be. It feels worse nowadays.
Oh, there you go. Look, Juki, I don't play my IS-6 anymore. Juki, I haven't played the IS-6 for about a year. Maybe 2 years, in fact. I haven't played the Luva for about a year. I haven't played these tanks for a long time. And when you've got, 70 odd tanks in tier 8, and you've got, almost all of them are better than the Luva or the IS-6. You've got to do something to get people to buy these tanks, because don't forget, guys, those two tanks sit above the tech tree as premiums. So these are not tanks that come around every now and then as an offer. They sit at the top. How do you get new players to buy them when everybody complains about them? You've got to do something to get them attractive. So maybe that's why they've done it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not part of their development team, so I couldn't tell you. But I don't think the HP buff is that bad. It could have been worse. They could have done armor buffs and lots of other different buffs. All they've done is added a bit of HP. That's it.
Yeah, and that does make them slightly more compatible in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
It definitely isn't fair to currently I'm playing tier 6 on tanks, mediums, against the T29. It's an unfair battle. With
the HP buff, the heavies can survive 1 or 2 more hits now. So, I mean, penetrating hits. Of course, you want to try to get bounces.
It's awful to nowadays play medium, especially in tier 6.
I haven't played tier 6 for a while. Well, I have. That's a lie. I went out in the Thunder and had a great time. Kenny, yeah, I agree with you on that. And you know, I did a video saying that players need to take some responsibility as well, because they should. And if somebody asked me on stream yesterday, what would you say would be the right amount of battles before you start rolling out in tier 10? And I said, well, in my opinion, it's 10,000 roughly. 10,000 battles before you roll out in tier 10. Because you gone are the days where players used to take their time to learn how to play the tanks, like the KV1, and you know, learning how to angle and bounce shots. And now, one of my biggest bugbears has always been, I don't begrudge Wargaming issuing premium tanks, don't get me wrong, they need to make money, but I remember back in the day when I first joined, you got a premium tank every now and then, apart from the ones that sit above the tech tree. Now you get 6 every week, and it's too much, because all you're doing is saying to players, we don't care how good you are, we just care how big your wallet is. You can buy all these premium tanks, even though you've only played 10 battles, you can buy all the premium tanks in tier 8 and you can roll out in tier 8. And what they do is spoil it for the people in tier 8 and tier 9 and tier 7. And, you know, some players do have to take some responsibility for that as well. And back in the day, players I found did take responsibility. You know, they would venture into that tier later. So.
Well, I also feel that back in the day, though, it was harder to be a free-to-play player. That's what I started out as. Minus matchmaking, you couldn't buy a premium tank because you didn't have gold ad videos or any of that.
No, I agree. It was harder back those days to be a free-to-play player. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
It was. I agree. I don't disagree. It was very difficult back in those days, but it did teach you how to play the tank. And as much as I hate the grind, because I hated the grind. I absolutely hated it. It taught you how to play the tank before you went to the next tank. To be fair, now
all that's gone now, though, isn't it?
All that's gone, and now I can rush through. I mean, take my North American account. I got to tier 8 in like next to no time. And that's free to play, by the way. I haven't dropped any money on that. That was completely free to play, and I think I did it over a couple of streams. And I went from tier 1. I just took one line. I went from tier 1, and I got to the VK 90, VK 101p. Sorry. In next to no time, and it can be done. I've done something like 200 battles, and I'm at tier 8. What? How is that possible?
Well, let's rewind a bit. Basically, lately Wargaming is just giving us boosters events just to quickly speed up. Don't forget the certificates, you know, to speed up.
No, exactly. But again,
the times 5 certificates.
But again,
like,
and you know, as much as
for research and those stuff.
As much as I bemoan 5.5, and I do think it was a bad move. The reasons behind it weren't to piss us all off. It was to keep players in the game. And to that extent, it's worked, because they have kept players in the game. Because now they're coming up to the IoTs and pissing everybody off. So Wargaming's aim was achieved, to be fair. It just had a knock-on effect that I don't think most people realised was going to happen. That was the issue. And it's also created, and this is the other bugbear I still have, it's created this misunderstanding that these new players have. Again, take my North American account. I'm a 72% win rate player on North America with 200 odd battles, which means I can go around thinking I'm the bee's knees, I'm shit hot. I know what I'm talking about. And if we lose a battle, it was because all you lot are noobs. And that's what you're getting, and you get this toxicity. And you see it across the game. you generally find that the person who dies first is the most inexperienced player, who then spends the next 5 minutes of the battle ripping into everybody. And that has happened, and it continues to happen.
That is a
Yeah,
that
I was
is
going
a
to say it
problem
continues to
because
happen, doesn't it? It's just
their constant typing can be distracting, especially if you're targeting an opponent, and then their typing pops up over the opponent. Now you can't see what the heck they're doing because you got this text in your way.
Oh, I had a great one yesterday. I was in a ratings battle, and I had a guy from Chaos, and a guy from I can't remember what clans they were now, but they're two really good clans, and it was brilliant. So we were losing, and the guy from Chaos in a T62A was doing his best, and we had this one guy who'd had something like 4,000 battles, telling him what to do. The guy knows how to play. He's like a 68% win rate player with 60 odd thousand battles. You don't need somebody to tell him how to play. And it gets really distracting. Really, really distracting, as you say. Because you're trying to concentrate on the game, and you just got people saying, go left, do right, use HE. Guys, I'm in a tier 10. I'm in a good clan. I know exactly what I'm doing. You don't need to keep telling me. And that's annoying.
and yet I had a game yesterday.
Doing that
Sorry.
myself, trying to guide a player, but you know, I'm not able. I'm not able to look at their stats before battle, so I don't know how good or bad they are.
But if you were in your account and the last guy standing in your game is from Pramo, then it's a good job that you're going to sit there thinking, well, he knows what he's doing.
I mean,
well, then again, Pramo, maybe not. That's a joke. It's a joke.
I mean, you were saying that about bad players, Fugit. I was in a game yesterday, and after the game, I mean, I played about 10 games and we lost 2. We won 2, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
By about the 7th game, I was getting pissed off, right? As you normally do.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And I looked at the last game we had. We should have waltzed over the enemy team. I looked at the stats, right, and all of my team were 50% plus 60% players.
Mm-hmm.
The rest on the Reds, right, were like sub 40% players, and they trashed us. They absolutely thrashed us.
And because sometimes.
And I was like, what the hell's going on?
Exactly.
I'm guilty of in the past acting like these newbies, but I had a lot more experience when I was racing like that. But I mean, I really shouldn't be doing that, and I've actually improved now on my current account, which is the only account I have. I had Wargaming delete my old ones because I was gonna quit the game. That didn't happen.
Yeah, Mr. Slapnuts. I once had a game where I said, "Guys, you're going the wrong way. Go to ACAP." And I was in a WZ121. What was it? Oh, I can't remember the tier 8 bloody TD that's broken. And some guy said, "Well, tell us how to do it then." And I went on and got a Pools medal. Yeah, it was always good fun. Anyway, that's it. There's not much else to talk about this week because not much else has happened. Realistic, there's not been any apart from the SU, obviously in crates, which is annoying, and I don't want to talk about it. Other than that, oh yeah, by the way, one last thing I forgot to talk about it: ratings, guys. At the moment, you're gonna find ratings is gonna be a bit horrid because obviously it gives season coins. So every man and his dog is under the impression that they can win an IS6 fearless. They can't. Okay, number 1.
I'm not even gonna try. I seen one in a battle the other day, but
I get PTSD from this.
Fearless.
Getting
But it's just an
PTSD.
IS6 with a different camo.
ITBN hacker. So, Canny, yes, you lost 700 points. Yes, I lost 250 points yesterday and managed to already claw back about 175 of them. It is tricky out there at the moment in the IS5, because I'm just playing a shitty replay because I hate that tank. It is tricky at the moment going out in ratings because everybody...
Yeah.
With ratings, it's not.
Every man in his
It
dog
is.
is doing it.
It's terrible, isn't it? It really is
Yeah,
bad,
it's
isn't
not
it?
the best. It's not the best.
I think when we were talking about
No, it's
newbies
not at all.
and bad players,
How is everyone?
they YOLO
What they doing?
and die.
Oh, you're getting the camera.
Oh, I have to play ratings, unfortunately, because I'm
Yeah,
part of the
yeah, yeah.
ratings thing.
I still
And by the way, I'm only
lighter
like,
armor, medium, and the light tanks is
yeah.
I go to spot, but I push up just a little too far and then get smacked.
Here's an interesting one. If I can get another 250 subs by the end of this month, then I get 3 things to give away. Yay! Because I'm doing
You
this
get
ratings
what?
thing, and I'm at 2,700 and something.
Because that.
So, how many of you are on the World Tanks Blitz official English server? You may know this.
What's that?
So, RBM, there are the rules and
Yeah. I'm doing the RBM stream
other stuff.
because if I get 3,000 subs, I get 3 things to give away, which is good. Which is good. I was never in it to get the IS6. Come on, that was never going to happen. I was only ever in it to try and get stuff to give away. And Wargaming said, if you do it and you qualify, then yeah, you will be able to get stuff to give away, which I want to do. So nice. What's the best tier 7 smasher?
I love killing smashers. Oh, yeah, I sent Martin Dogger a video the other day, and
Tiger
I
one.
did make a big mistake. But I was playing the IS-2 Trofta,
Mm-hmm.
and this was an ace battle. But it came down to the smasher killed my SU-1 under Y, so I was alone against him. But he was a one-shot. No matter what tank I had been playing,
Mm-hmm.
he would have been a one. And then there was a almost full health Tiger 1, and I pulled off an ace.
I think so. You're not into heavies. Sorry, this is the guy. This is Hacker on YouTube. So he's not into his heavy tank. So what do I think is the best medium tank? Well, personally, I think the T20 is a good tank.
The best medium, I would say, it's T-34-1
T20?
medium.
Well, I mean, for me, at tier 7, one of my favourite tanks in tier 7 is, as a medium, is the T-43. I love that tank. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, the Russian T-43, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's a great tank.
Chinese T-34-1 is awesome because you have strong turret and a nice gun.
Yeah,
For
the other
medium
day
tank?
I had a T-43 on the enemy team smacking me a good bit before a teammate
Yeah,
came in
it's got good rate of
smacking him
fire.
and distracted him. And then I
Um,
killed him.
One moment. Happy, let's, you won't be able to do it this time, but let's talk about it and we'll try and get you sorted for the Twister. So you can do, if you can do the challenges then, because they're always looking for streamers. So yeah, that's what I would do. Anyway, I think that's it. KV-13 is good, Canny. Yes, that is true. That is good tank.
Yeah, I've got that one. That's a good trollish tank, that one.
It is a good tank. Yes, I forgot about the
Yeah.
KV-13. It's a collector
Wait,
now.
when we
It's a
talk
collector
about
though, isn't it
power
now?
creep tanks, I
It
think
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Pershing's
Yeah.
been power creeped.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
never good to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What tank?
that's one tank I feel confident you can go out and face a heavy.
Yeah, it's a
If you
nice
know what I
tank, the KV-13. Yeah, it is.
Mm.
Anyway,
KV-13.
unless there's anything
I
else,
need to go play my KV-13.
if there's nothing else, we're going to knock it on the head there.
Already?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you mean already? it's been an hour and a half.
Oh,
Oh,
an
okay,
hour
okay.
and a half. Yeah, it's been an hour and a half.
Don't forget, guys, those of you who are on, Jory, I'm streaming you tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah.
So I'll try not to be biased in the stream. But I hope you do turn APA over. I didn't say that.
I hope so too.
So do I. You who did you turn over the other day? Because who did you beat? Local, wasn't it?
Loca, yeah.
Yeah, and they I tell you what, they were really strong against Immor. But Immor,
Yeah.
seemed to be off their game a lot in rounds 1 and 2. They weren't the team that we're used to.
Yeah.
And Loka destroyed them in the first round. So I'm really chuffed that you beat Loka. That's nice. That is nice because they look very strong indeed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, true.
so we'll be streaming tomorrow. Asian tour first, followed by EU tour. So stay tuned. The links are already up on my YouTube channel. So by all means, get ready for some good professional action tomorrow,
Watching
guys.
these streams can help you learn about these players.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
go up
to an
against
extent,
them
yes.
Random battle.
Absolutely. Right, and with that, I'm going to say thank you all those on YouTube for popping in. Thank you those on Discord. And I'll catch you all again soon. So until then, bye for now, guys.
Bye for now.
I'm going to say good night there.
Happy tanking.